All right, welcome back. Another week. The Star Wars Cinema Crew is taking over the Comic Cinema Crew as we talk
Yes.
about the Book of Boba Fett. Have an episode 3 spoiler discussion. I am here with my Comic Cinema Crew brethren, my guy Chris and E. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's going on, Big Mike?
What's going on, guys? Special guest, my guy Maine, who always likes to join us.
What's going on, y'all?
And of course, the architect himself, Mr. Josh Waring.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm very excited about our guest. Take it away.
Another
man.
special guest, Chris. Would you please introduce him?
Yeah, I want to introduce Dr. Andrew Weingarner, creator of the Duel of the Fates digital comic, which I am a huge fan of. And he's also going to be creating a documentary on creativity, which I hope to donate some money to get you started on that, man. That's going to be amazing. And all the guests you've had, if you want to talk a little bit about that, man, please do.
Thank you. Talk about it right now?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Well, gosh, I wasn't ready to do that. But
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So man, after my PhD, you think, well, what do I do now? So, and after I finished the comic as well, the Duel of the Fates comic, I was awoken at 4 a.m, like somebody, like not my wife, but somebody cattle prodded me out of the bed almost, just with this idea, like I have to talk to psychologists and as many creatives as I can to kind of figure out what is creativity. So I've been interviewing a lot of people. If you go to my website, I don't need to put the website up there again, but there's some people here. Sorry, I'm looking at my website. A bunch of psychologists who have staked their careers on explaining what in the world creativity is.
Yeah.
What do I have? I have like 20 PhDs up here, and then a bunch of creatives, and I've started getting some famous creatives.
Yeah.
I got in contact with Colin Trevorrow, so I interviewed him in November. Just this week, I interviewed Phil Tippett at his studio in Berkeley.
Okay.
Man.
I interviewed a guy named Peter Stewart, who was the lead singer of a 90s band called Dog's Eye View, which I've always liked the band a lot, but he kind of dropped out of music, and I wondered what happened to him, so I looked him up.
Why does that sound familiar? Okay.
Look it up later, but yeah, Dog's Eye View. So this musician, very famous musician in the 90s, he ended up leaving the spotlight, and he became a marriage and family therapist.
Hmm.
So I talked to him, and he was like, "Oh, I would love to talk about creativity." Who else here? I got to interview recently Glenn Mcintosh, who's an animation supervisor on the Star Wars prequels and Jurassic World movies. And then
okay.
a guy named John Harrison, who did the sci-fi Dune series in 2000 through 2003.
Really?
Yes.
Last month. So yeah,
That's awesome, man. Oh wow, so cool. I know it must have been hard
like
not to talk Star Wars
here's what
with those guys.
psychologists say, here's what creatives say, and kind of play back and forth.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
indeed.
So somebody you might want to get to know a little bit, Josh. The gentleman here, something like that. So, but we're here for the Book of Boba Fett, episode 3, and thank you again for gracing our presence, everyone who is here. We last left off with episode 2. We all talked about it last week, and thank you, Dr. Weingartner, for your comments about our show. Appreciate that as well. So we pick up here in this episode with right where we left off last week. We saw the Black Chrysanthemum. And kind of like that whole standoff with him and Boba Fett. We also saw a huge flashback background from when he was with the Tusken Raiders last week. So this week we pick up. He's right on the throne and sitting with Finnick as usual. And I don't know the guy that came in. It was the guy from Office Space. I don't know his name on the show.
Stephen Root.
Stephen Root. Yeah, Stephen Root. Yeah, I like with the staplers.
One of his
Yeah. So he came in there and he was complaining about the fact that some kids were stealing from him and water, I believe. And of course, he said he'll double his tribute, being that Boba Fett is the new crime boss, if the Boba Fett helps him. So Boba goes out with Fennec, and they decide to talk to these I guess scoundrels who sold the water. And I guess his first thought was he would have to I don't know what his thought was, but you would think that he would go to them and try to force them to stop doing it and give the water back, but he went another way, and he decided to recruit them into his stable instead. So I'm going to go around the panel. I'll start with you, Chris, because you're first up top. What do you think of this whole first part right here?
I think it was interesting to show the power vacuum after Bib Fortuna was perished, which I thought that was pretty funny. And you can see that the Trandoshans took the city center, the Aqualish, what was that? They took the workers district, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Klatunians took the starport and the upper reaches or whatever. It was funny that I think Bib Fortuna allowed these crime families to operate as long as they paid him a tribute, so he wasn't as strong as Jabba was.
Right.
And as far as I heard a lot of complaints on the internet about this swoop gang, these kids with these cybernetics, and how it's cyberpunk. Does anybody not remember that Darth Vader is half cybernetic as well, and Luke Skywalker?
Luke, even the lady with the gun.
Right. So I don't know what the complaints were for that either.
I think to cut you off, man. I think the complaint was it seemed like they did it to themselves just because they wanted to do it. It's like getting a tattoo, let's say, in this time of age. And then Luke and Darth, they had to. They had no choice.
Well, yeah.
I guess those are the complaints, stuff like that.
They could have said no.
The way Boba went with that, recruiting them to his army instead of instead of that was pretty amazing how he did that. And then he took the moisture farmer and was like, here's 500 coins, and I want you to reduce your charging these people money for the water. So that was very cool.
Man, how you felt about the way he handled that situation?
So first off, I want to say that for Big Mike, I'm sure he got excited because I put one of my notes was straight to the point. They went talking about no respect. It was soon as it came open, hey, my man, people don't respect you. What are you gonna do about it?
Right.
So I like that aspect of getting right to the point. To the cyberpunk thing, being for me, I got excited because cyberpunk is my favorite theme of any. I love cyberpunk, anything cyberpunk. So I literally jumped up and I leaned in. I saw the bikes and everything, the speeders, and I was like, oh, the colors, the arm and everything. So I got excited about that. I love that aspect. But to your point, I loved how he handled that situation, and with the moisture farm, but also with the gang, because you have to also understand in his position, you need allies. And he didn't have this thrall of people behind him when he came into power. So you have to make allies, and you have to be able to have people above and below to work things out, and to have, especially if you're going to be taking a position like this on. So I thought it was really smart of him to hire them. And he said, listen, you guys don't have work. Well, now you do. So you either come work with me, or you can get the hell out of here. So what's your options? What are your choice? So I really thought he handled that really well. And I'm glad he handled that situation with the moisture farmer the way he was, because he was kind of shady to me a little bit. And I feel like we're going to see him again because he didn't like the way he handled that situation. But it was a little shady how he brought the whole situation to him. But Boba, I think, handled it quite diplomatic. It was very diplomatic in a way. But at the same time, I know that it rubbed him the wrong way. And some people aren't going to like that about Boba Fett.
All right. Dr. W, as you can see, we kind of go almost scene by scene to discuss each different part rather than as a whole. So just the part with the talking about the water farmer and the teenagers. How'd you feel about, or the I don't know how old they are, but how'd you feel about that aspect and with his decision with them?
I liked the whole thing. I liked the 88 droid explaining, how the city was carved up by different cartels, and explaining I guess they didn't really explain why the twin Hutts hadn't come back in the power vacuum, but they at least explained how Bib Fortuna was able to because you wouldn't expect him to be some hard ass gangster. So there it was he was just a puppet figure and just a figurehead, and he allowed everybody else to do the work for him. That makes a lot of sense. I liked the explainer of that.
Yeah. Okay. And you like his decision on recruiting them rather than
I thought that was very interesting. Yeah, because you would expect somebody to do something like just go beat him up like he did to the aliens in the bar in the last episode.
Right.
So it shows a little progression from that. I think is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about a couple of weeks ago. I want to get your opinion before I move on to Josh about his process on ruling with respect, where Finnick wants him to rule with force. What do you feel about that, Dr. W?
Like which one would I agree with? Him,
Yes.
Boba or
Yes.
Finnick?
Yes.
I mean, I'm a teacher, so I always prefer to teach with respect, but you don't always get it from students. Sometimes, and the teachers I know who have a lot of like their classes are locked down. It's like, well, how do you do that? And they're like, oh, I put the fear of God in them. Like I'm just mean all the time. And it's like, but I didn't get into education to be mean to kids. I got into education to teach people stuff. So, I appreciate someone who's going to do something through, via respect versus just, coming at you hard and, wanting you to kowtow to whatever they're doing. So I like the way Boba Fett wants to do it. So I'm interested to see.
Just curious about that. Josh, up until the scene with the water farmer and him recruiting them, what do you think about that whole part?
I mean, it's very interesting. It reminded me of that scene we saw in Game of Thrones when Daenerys goes to one of the places she conquered. I forget the name of it right now, where the people are coming into the throne room and asking for things. So I thought that was great to see his judiciary presence in his area, right? So I thought that was cool. And as everyone said, and I agree with, I think he handled it the right way. However, I will say just a little caveat, just to play devil's advocate here. The fact that he was able to buy the cyborg gang means that they always can go to the highest bidder. So that's something to think about as well. But I love the fact that they put them. That's true to mafia underworld dynamics and logistics. Instead of going to war and use the wisdom from the huts, is bad for business. It's better to just flip them. It's always easier like that. It's like cheaper to keep her, that concept.
Huh. Hey, we thought about that point, buddy.
Oh, I loved it. Especially when he said, "You better fight as good as you talk, Dank."
Oh yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, so I, coming from Boba Fett, I enjoyed that part. The gang is dope. The gang is dope. All the little cybernetics, the guy's eyes, all that stuff is dope.
Yeah.
I don't care if they did it to themselves. I think they to me they're Star Wars. They belong. So
True.
They belong. I don't care if they did it to themselves or not.
Yeah.
In a world like that, why wouldn't you? You got
Right.
Jedis, you got aliens, you're facing everything. So and what's the spider droid? It looked like it had a brain inside.
Yeah.
So are they do they run on that land too? Like, do they run on that planet? Do they?
From what I understand, when Jabba ruled that area, he took all the Bomar monks and put them in his lair and kind of held them prisoner. And now they're walking around free. The Bomar monks, they put their brains inside of these spider droids
for evolution, right?
Enlightenment.
Yeah.
So now that you see him free, sprawling around outside. So I thought that was a really nice touch too.
That was.
You see one in Return of the Jedi when the gates open. You can see one in the back, kind of just chilling there. Yeah,
absolutely. So we see a very big push for the transhumanist theory, which I thought was very interesting.
Yes,
speaking.
Very, very interesting.
All right. So to the point of Maine and his point chart there. Next we get. Before we get to that, we actually get Boba Fett and going back to the Bacta tank, which he often likes to go to. And then, of course, with Bacta tank means flashback, right? So we know that now.
Mike's favorite. Mike's favorite. He was at the edge of that seat when that flashback. Here it comes.
But this one was actually a good and important though. So this was actually worked, and it wasn't 45 minutes either. So it actually worked. So he decides to go to, I guess, collect on the debt that he already had made with the Pikes, an episode before. And when he gets there after his long journey, they tell him that they already paid. Who did they already pay? I forget who they are called.
The Swoop Gang, the Kenton Striders. That's what they called them in this episode. So they actually have a name now. Yeah,
they're called the Kenton Striders.
Striders,
okay.
yeah.
Strider gang, right?
He already
paid the Striders, and that he can't. He said, "I refuse to pay double," which I agree with. I'm not paying you and them for protecting.
Right.
It's not really fair.
Right.
So I mean, that I agree with him there. So then Boba says, okay, I'll take care of it. So, but when he gets back to his campsite, we see the Tusken Raiders are gone. Tusken Raiders, the weapons, the animals, they're all gone, and of course we get the symbol, the same symbol that we saw earlier in episode 1 on the tent. And then we see that he, of course, goes through their regular ritual of burning them up, burning the bodies after they're gone. So I'll switch the order this time. E, what do you think about that whole part, man? That whole flashback.
So with that, the flashback, how I am with the flashbacks too. I'm like, it's good. It's cool.
Oh, they're great.
They're not bad. They're not bad flashbacks, but I like this episode. This is my episode right here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my type of episode. But remember that symbol you mentioned, just like
the two J's going opposite ways.
Yeah, like that, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the biker gang?
Yeah, that was the Kenton Striders.
Okay,
that was their symbol.
Yeah, I swear that's what I was thinking. So to me, I thought the biker gang did all that.
Or was it?
I think it was the Pikes and it was a setup, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
All right, well, just the flashback itself and the fact that they were dead when he got back, and what that meant for him and Josh. We think that whole scene there.
I mean, it's been coming for a while. We know in this type of landscape with let's say politics, if you will, in the desert or the wild west, in a place like Tatooine, it was only a matter of time where retribution would come, where people would they would come to reciprocate that energy that he brought. So to me, it was like, it was unfortunate, but he couldn't be that surprised that it happened. And I felt like as soon as he took that creature, I forget the big creature's name that goes across the desert. It was
with the horns.
Absolutely. I felt like that was setting it up. Like, oh, the Mantha, he was going away in a very slow and methodical way, which was enough time for people with speeders to come on and ravage and things like that. So I'm actually very surprised that with his great strategic planning as a Mandalorian, I thought Boba Fett would have created a contingency plan with the chief in case something like that would happen, especially since he did attack the gang. So this was always coming. So I wasn't surprised. I was just surprised that there was no contingency plan.
Dr. W, flashback scene. How did you feel about that this week?
I liked the flashback scene. I thought it was a little unfortunate that his whole Tusken tribe was unceremoniously killed off screen, but that's the only thing I didn't like about that.
You wanted to see it.
Well, I don't know that I wanted to see it or not. I just thought it was unfortunate to throw those characters away so quickly.
Yeah.
By the way, did everyone notice that the one who I think is force sensitive wasn't there? I thought that was interesting.
That was my question too.
Yeah, that's what everybody's wondering. Was the child and the female Tusken, were they among the bodies? We didn't see them.
Nope.
He did throw the little gaffy stick was the kids that he put in the pyre, but we didn't see the kid, I guess.
We only saw the chief on the ground, unfortunately.
Now, since it's Disney, do you think they would show it, or they're just, or he could be alive?
I think that, to me personally, the way that they've shown scenes like that before in the world of Star Wars, where lightsabers and it's very light based, so a lot of the damage sparks and things like that. You've seen people get their arms cut off and things like that. So I think that that's not a problem. I think it's probably just more of the direction that they want to take with that scene or with this story. I think that's all it was.
So you think they're alive or gone?
I think that they're alive. I think that more than likely the force sensitive one probably felt something going on and was like, okay, you or whoever else, let's get out of here. And I think that's what happened. I think eventually they'll meet up.
Okay, how you felt about the whole flashback scene?
I also liked it. I did say I was like, oh man, when I saw that the scene happened and everything had transpired like that, it was very unfortunate. And to what Josh was saying, I also expected Boba to have a contingency plan, but this shows that even in this moment, all the things that he's been through, there was a blind spot, and it happens. Things like that happen, and it was very unfortunate. But what it does is it also makes Boba as a character more relatable and more human, in the sense that these people that he cared for, that you probably think he wouldn't even care for, he grew to respect and love these people and admire them and take on their teachings and their way of life, so to speak. And you were like, okay, well, he's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. We're good. And then all of a sudden, one thing happens, a misstep, a missight, and here we are. So it was unfortunate, but I'm glad that they showed that scene because it for me, it made me attach myself more to his character.
All right, and Chris, of course.
That was Boba's Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen moment, man. You know, he went back and they were all gone. But this is my prediction, and I'm usually wrong. I think someone else did that because if you look at the blast markings around it, and also they hung the Tuskens, right? You saw them kind of like almost crucified in some spots, which I thought was kind of odd. But I think they planted that symbol on there to deflect who really did that. That's just my opinion. And I think that female Tusken got out. I think she's going to come back, you know, at some point. But yeah, that was pretty sad. And like Dr. Weingarner said, it was a little too soon to get rid of that whole, you know, thing with the Tuskens, like just like that. So, you know, yeah.
But I feel like, what about the bikes? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got Tuskens riding on these bikes out there.
Well,
You don't think the gang that
they're like
did
the
that?
Fremen. There's millions of Tuskens out there. That was just his tribe.
Right, but I'm just saying you got that tribe riding on a bike gangs, but motorcycles basically.
That's why I think. That's why I don't think it was the Striders that did it, man. I think this was something like maybe with more heavier armaments, like the Pikes, or something.
I think it was the Pikes as well, and I think that they're the ones who are alive. If the female, I think she's kidnapped, being captured, being held hostage by the Pikes. Not just walking around.
Yeah, because you know they always find value in people that can tear stuff up. You know what I mean? When somebody's nice at something and fighting, especially.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I won't believe that force-sensitive nonsense on that Tusken until I see it.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Well, you've seen it when Boba was.
But it would be awesome. I would love that.
Fair point.
I'm not knocking it. Can you imagine a Tusken being force-sensitive? Woo! Let's go.
It's big.
The force is in everything. I thought
it is, but not like that.
Through everything, right? Yeah. Okay. You're right. You're right, E. You're right.
All right. So we get okay. So I'm gonna say the pacing in this episode was really good, right? Because you go from the whole thing with the water, and then the dream flashback, and from waking up in the bathtub tank, you get him being pulled out.
Woo!
by
Who called it?
Yeah.
Yo.
And that, to your point, Maine, the action was there at that point, and you get
that's a nightmare, man.
Yeah, man.
Him fighting for his life, half naked, just trying to do the container with no weaponry at all.
At his most vulnerable.
Oh my god!
Most vulnerable, coming out of a dream. Can you imagine that? Come out of your dream. Oh my god!
Right, get snatched by that thing. Oh
yo,
my god!
I'd have pissed myself.
Right,
straight up.
He very well may have.
Straight up, dog.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I think. Didn't they say sleep well? The Hut
sleep lightly.
Yeah.
That's what the female Hut said.
So she was very literal with that threat.
For real. I don't think that even though they are political and they got all that, you know, all that pull and everything like that, I think that they're also very literal species. They ain't gonna sit there and be like, sleep lightly, insinuation. They're like, no, sleep lightly.
Like for real. Sleep lightly.
We coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Sleep in your sleep, right? You sleep lightly,
yeah.
And he didn't say heed to the threat, so we see the whole action sequence, and we can end it up with him being trapped in the Rancor pit. So with the help with everybody, teenagers, just that whole action sequence, man. How you felt about that, bro?
Man, first of all, like I said, I literally put in my notes in all caps the action. Are you happy, Mike?
Yeah,
literally.
Yes.
I was like, this is for you.
Yes.
So, man, when he opened that tank and he saw Chrysanthemum, I was like, oh shit! And he just grabbed him. Man, like he whooped his ass. Not like it was. I was like, man, it was crazy to see how big he was. Like the scale, like the size comparison.
Yeah.
Like you saying, Boba had nothing. He was basically fresh out the tub with a
Ragdoll.
blindfold on,
Right.
and was just getting tossed around. And even when he grabbed the wrist gauntlet, I'm thinking, okay, he's about to shoot him. He was like, no, he gonna get this work. Wow, straight hit in the face. I was like, whoa, what? So it was just like it was nonstop action. I love the double tackle by Chrysanthemum. That was nice down the stairs. He was like, man, listen, it's the block is too hot. I need to make it put some space up a little bit.
Them Gamorreans are no pushovers, man.
They're not. But he pushed him.
He did.
Nah, he was right. Yeah. Especially punching him in the face like that.
Exactly. All you heard was screaming. I was like, damn.
I don't think I ever seen one of them hold their face like that.
So it was a great action sequence, and as soon as I saw him come downstairs, I was like, "Oh, I know where you're going," because it just the pacing, and I'm like, "Oh, I know exactly where you're going." And sure enough, and I was like, "Told you," but it was like a really really dope action sequence, man. I was super excited for that, and it didn't disappoint at all.
I want to talk to a comic creator, Dr. W, about the action sequence. How'd you feel about that?
It was very well done. I liked it. I mean, I agree with everything Maine said. I don't know if I have anything to add.
Okay.
It's very well done.
Josh.
I mean, talk about going from a dream to your worst nightmare. And to Maine, when he woke up and saw his face, I was like, oh my God. Right? That's like, oh my gosh. Like, I want to go back. Please put me back in the dream, right? Like, oh my God.
Yes.
The first impact on the ground, thud, and
then
back slaps him, pimp slaps him into steel because he doesn't have armor on. That's why I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I love how ruling with respect saved his life because of the two bodyguards and the cyborgs.
That's true.
If they were not there, I don't know where Finnick be at. We're in the castle, but he would have been dead easily.
Gone.
Yep.
This is true. Let's not forget about the bear hug you put him in.
Oh man,
and his toes curled, man.
Yo, when I saw that toe go like this, I said, "Oh, that's a wrap. You're done."
And
like,
everybody fights when they're wet. It always looks like it hurts more.
Yeah.
You guys ever notice that in movies?
You hear
when they're
that
fighting and they're wet?
slapping the meat.
Oh my God.
Slapping the meat. Wow.
Yeah.
That mist comes off.
I mean, nothing dirty by that.
And shout out to Dank. Shout out to Dank for pulling her own weight with her crew. They did wonderful. They did wonderful.
And you know what? I'm thinking to what I forgot who mentioned it, but I think that was that moment where you see that relationship being forged. Yes, they could have gone to the highest bidder, right, being who they are. But by Boba hiring them and showing them that respect and showing them that, hey,
honor,
I'll extend my hand to you. I'm the new daimyo. I'll extend my hand to you so long as we cool. If you cool, I'm cool. And that was basically them pledging allegiance and saying, you know what, we could have just stood by and watched.
And I agree with
for whatever reason. So I think that they're literally, pun intended, ride or dies.
Yeah,
nice.
They're definitely ride or dies.
Well,
I agree.
Okay, well, I'll get to my problems in a second, but yeah, I agree with that. And that bear hug, and I was like Andre the Giant with Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
WrestleMania 3.
God.
My God.
What a good callback.
Yeah,
like you said, you can hear the meat.
So yeah, I was on you anyway, Ace. So I think you loved the whole scene there.
Yo, I love that scene. Man, I didn't know he was a beast like that, and then I didn't know he had like a little bit of technology with him when he had the powerful knuckle ring. Oh my God, yeah.
That skull crack punch.
Now them beating him like that and trapping him in there. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was thinking to myself like, "Oh, he got his rancor." That's what I thought. I'm not gonna lie. No, but I'm just saying. I thought.
Oh, you thought it was there?
Yeah, like no, I thought he would be it. Like instead of them dropping people down to a rancor, they're dropping them down to that.
Oh, him to be the beast. I got you. That makes sense. That's interesting.
You know what's crazy? I even when Finnick looks at Boba and shakes her head, to me, knowing that he didn't have his rancor yet, I think that was her saying like, no, Amazon didn't bring it yet, so it's just gonna be him. It's not here yet. I think it was like Boba was like, is it here? And she was like, no.
And then we see Boba again extend the respect of letting the Wookiee go. And Wookiees always have this. I feel like in their culture when
it's like
life, they become loyal. So again, I think that's going to come to fruition as well.
Not
Yo,
even
if
that.
he
When
makes
he sent
that
his
a part
bodyguard
of
to the
his
tank.
team, oh my
Oh, yeah.
god! If he makes that part of his team,
Yes.
Chrysanthemum's
That's
coming
true.
back.
That's true. He did send the bodyguards to the tank. I forgot about
He
that.
did,
man.
and that was another thing, man. That was
very cool.
You take care of your people.
Your
You know,
people,
in every
right.
sense of the word.
right?
Every sense of the word.
Yeah. Any more thoughts about the whole scene, Chris? Or
I really don't have anything much to say as far as how everything went down. What I did like is going by and seeing these new weapons that they were using, like the one what's his name, Drash or whatever. He had that spinning chain.
I
with the
knew it.
electricity on
I
the
knew
end
what
of
you were
it.
talking about.
Yeah, and the dagger had some kind of like little laser orb inside. I just love seeing new tech in Star Wars that hasn't been seen before. And when it comes to weapons, armor, or anything like that, I thought that was excellent. And these Rancor pit openings, you know, there's been empty the first 2 times. It ain't gonna be empty no more. We'll get to that.
No.
So yeah, that was great. Chrysanthemum's awesome. Him and Boba have worked together in the past. And according to the comics, Black Chrysanthemum and Boba Fett do know each other and have worked together.
Yeah, because remember he was saying something slick to him
around
when
the
they first
time.
met.
I think around the time where Obi-Wan was still in Tatooine.
Yeah, Obi-Wan was the one who gave him the scar on his face.
Right,
and I
right.
hope Chrysanthemum comes back in the Obi-Wan series as well. But
Oh, come on, you know he has to.
yeah. I think he's gonna be a major character now. But yeah, that fight scene was great. And you all said very you know.
My only thing is, man, Boba, you got to get better, man. It's 7 people there. Nobody saw the 7-foot Chewie coming in. Like, come on, man. They gotta get by.
But wasn't
door.
that wee hours? Wasn't everybody like, you know, laid back doing their own thing right
They
there?
gotta be security.
What does he really have? He's got the 4 guards, he's got the 2 Gamorreans, and
that's 7 of them.
Wait, when's the last time you heard the wee hours? What the hell is? Forget all that other stuff. What the hell was it? Was wee hours, right? What the hell?
He's supposed to be a crime lord. He's got 7 more people with him. Somebody got to be guarding the door. I'm just saying.
No, Big Mike is adding depth to it. Okay,
Right? No, I get it. It's a sentence enhancer. I get it, but man,
Yeah,
what
I
a
know.
choice.
That's my only thing. I mean, but okay, Chris, add in depth. I got you. But hopefully, moving forward, somebody wakes up and says, "Okay, we'll stand guard." Like,
don't let him beat up on you, Mike.
No, it's all love, man. It's all love.
I know.
Well, that was
I'm saying, wasn't the green guys there? They was ready, so they probably was the ones that.
Well, not
was
ready
their
enough.
shift.
Not
ready enough.
But truthfully, was anybody going to stop Black Chrysanthemum? Or
That's not the point. He was watching him sleep. But how long was he even there for? Like,
right?
All right, don't get creepy now.
That's true. I think that his bodyguards were probably like, yeah, man. So I said, listen, now if you ain't gonna come over to my house, yeah, and they was all just talking. He just
You heard that?
You heard that? And that was it. And boom, there we go.
There.
So I'm sure at some point off camera, Boba Fett was like, "Where was y'all antennas at when I was getting my ass whooped over here? Where was y'all at?
Once they heard
what was y'all
the meat,
doing?"
Once they heard the meat.
Oh man, we went back to that again. All right.
I mean, I would say to be fair, because of the anatomy of the Wookiee, it's fur, so you're not necessarily going to hear footsteps. Number one, number two, I think after this, the 2 guards will be in his tank room,
right?
All times.
Well, my thing is, the 2 guards were there. They were probably guarding the door, but maybe he didn't come through the door. They have those big arches, like they're like the big windows. He could have crawled up the side of the building.
Right.
True.
That's
Right. Yeah. Because you got to remember, he's more sneakier than Chewbacca. He's more like a fighter anyway, like a ninja gladiator type. So
true.
Right.
I just thought that maybe Boba, like if I was Boba, because I'm the kind of guy who, like, my camera and everything, I have to see exits. So I'm thinking that maybe Boba's that kind of guy where he's like, okay, my back is against the wall, no windows or certain things like that. I'll have some ventilation some other way, but the only way you come in and come out is from the front, and I need to see it. So that's what I thought I would expect.
One point of entry and
yeah, that's what I was thinking. But hey, Black Chrysanthemum was like, that don't matter to me. I'll dig a hole.
Yeah, I would say that whole tank room, the whole tank room is incredibly vulnerable. It's just so open.
Yeah,
and I thought they showed the setting for a reason and that's why I always thought that was going to eventually happen. It's just so exposed.
And also, his weapons are too far from the tank. Like, he needs to be a little bit closer when he's sleeping. I feel like
man, listen, just like Josh said, I guarantee you, next scene they're gonna be right next to his damn tank. They're gonna be on top of his tank, so he can slide off and grab him.
Standing right there.
He gonna be in a tank with with a gun just sitting right here.
I'm like,
Exactly.
yo, they go far. Like, listen, it's embarrassing to get killed half naked, wet, like stuff like that.
You know what this reminds me of, Mike? This reminds me when you wake up and there's a samurai sword right next to you. That's what that reminds me of.
That's an inside joke. We're off camera, but we'll
Got
later
you.
date. But anyway, Boba's not happy though. To Maine's point, so Finnick is just like having a feast. They have a lot of food, and Boba's like, enough with the food. Like he's really pissed about what's happened to him, obviously, as he should be. Finnick's like, well, I'm hungry. I don't know what you're talking about. So, but he sends the food back. He's upset. So they're talking to each other, having this kind of like I guess internal council trying to figure out who's sending these people to try to kill him. And then from there, they find out that the Hutts are there to see them. So, he gets dressed, and I don't know how fast, but that's not the end of there. And then they go down there and they see the Hutts. And the Hutts, basically, I love the Hutts. Like these two, the twins, by the way, And they basically, they say, well, listen, man, we told you. Yeah, we sent them to kill you. Like, we didn't lie about it. Yes, we told you we was going to do it. Which I do love. But they say that, they're out right now. And they suggest that he leaves with them. And they also let him know that the mayor is behind a lot as well. And also, of course, like you said, Josh, they leave him the gift of the Rancor now. To go down there, which we'll get into as well, and then in the end, he lets the Wookiee leave. So just that whole part up to where the Hutts are at. Maine, we think about that whole thing.
I thought that was really well done. The Hutts know well enough to leave well enough alone. They were like, okay, you know what? It's not our scene. There's a lot of other things going on here. We do want to let you know that while we did attempt to take your life, we did bring a gift because we figured that it wouldn't work. So here's our peace offering, peace. And I think that was very smart. Still, I feel like they're going to be showing up again or having some kind of influence or some kind of touch later on, I'm sure. But I thought this was really well done. Also, the way they handled the situation with Chrysanthemum, that was interesting. How they pretty much was like, honestly, we don't want him no more. Do what you want with him. Like, kill him, sell him, whatever. And I liked how Boba handled that situation as well, because he could have done it many different ways. I think it was a really well done scene, and it really also plants some seeds for other episodes or other things to basically come to fruition.
Dr. W, do you think they the Hutts are being transparent? They're really actually leaving in this scene, or do you think there's more to them than what they're telling you?
I think they were being transparent. Obviously saying yes, we sent the Wookiee to kill you, but yeah, they're probably not being fully honest that they're actually leaving. That just seemed too quick. So
right, that's what I thought too. Yeah, little
but one thing I liked a lot, and I didn't think about it at the time. I just thought, oh, that's nice of Boba Fett to do, or he let the Wookiee go. And I've seen people online go, oh, now the Wookiee owes him a life debt, which is very true.
Yep.
So now he's potentially got a Wookiee on his side, kind of mirroring Han Solo. But,
yeah, that's best.
Either that, or at least like there might, in my mind, there might be a scene to your point, Doctor. There's a scene where he may need some outside help. He may get like somebody gets sniped or somebody gets stealth killed, and he'll look over and it was Chrysanthemum, and he'll be like, "All right, that has paid him out." So it could also lead to that too, as well. So I don't owe you anything. We're done. I don't want to see you for the rest of my life. So that might be something like that too.
If it's a life debt, then he owes it to him for as long as he's alive. So
they're
gonna be best of buddies. If
just like Chewbacca and Han Solo.
That's true.
Like
Okay,
that's
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's his ace in the hole now, man.
All right, and what do we think about the Hutts and their transparency and what they said, Josh, to him about leaving, and that he should leave too?
So when Chloe and I were watching this, we both looked at each other like,
"Stop the cap! Stop the cap right now! Stop the cap!"
And I was like, "Come on now, you cannot trust them." Like, I understand they're being transparent, but it's kind of like admitting you were wrong and apologizing when you got caught, not because you're an upstanding person. So I was just like, "Come on, the Hutts are gangsters. We know what time it is. And then I feel like we get the context later, and it's a part of conjecture on my part, but I felt like the Hutts were leaving because they knew who was coming to Tatooine, and that's why they left. So they got wind of that. They're in, they're in the mafia underworld. They get information before everyone else. That's why they were leaving, and they were like, why not? Here's a gift to put the cherry on top. But I feel like they were not completely transparent, as Dr. W said.
Yeah, I thought with the Wookiee part too. I think they said keep the Wookiee or whatever because he didn't get the job done. So I felt
right. That's why I felt they was.
Yeah,
like
go ahead. We think about the whole part then.
No, you're good. I just thought that's exactly what I thought. Like they said, keep the Wookiee for because he didn't get the job done. He lost to Boba Fett, and they're looking like, all right, he's worthless right now. We don't need him no more. And then on the transparency part, I think I remember Jabba having a son, so. I feel like, maybe they're dipping because they're like, oh, the son got claim. We don't even got claim over the son, so we might as well just bounce and let him take over and do what he got to do. But then when I seen the end, I'm thinking to myself, maybe that's the reason they left too. So I'm not sure.
All right, Chris, what do you think about the whole part with the Hutts there, buddy?
Just a few things. So and Jabba's son is named Rada the Hutt. Okay, so the funniest part of that entire scene to me was like these guys are carrying these twins and they're looking over at the Rancor being levitated on a device. I'm like, man, why are we doing this? Could you see them looking over at when the Rancor's floating up? Man, I must have been like, man, really? We're doing this?
Yeah, but I think the Hutts. That's the they do it to show the power.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on there. Yeah. And they know that war is coming to Tatooine, and war is bad for business, like they said.
Yep.
So, and supposedly, I think it was in episode 1 or episode 2 where Boba said that they're having some problems on Nal Hutta, their homeworld. That they're stretching themselves thin now. Due to the Empire collapsing and everything else like that. So, yeah, I think they really want to get out here. So, because the Pikes are coming, or something bigger. So,
okay. You said Rada the Hutt, right?
Rotta. Yep, Rada the Hutt.
All right. So, well, speaking of the Rancor, which we've all alluded to, he does get the Rancor, and the Rancor, the Danny, what's his name? The
Danny motherfucking Trejo.
Yeah, that's
Danny
my
Trejo.
boy.
Yeah.
So perfect. So perfect.
Yeah.
Another Star Wars cameo, absolutely.
Loved it.
And we see him, and he's the Rancor trainer now. And then they put
you got to say Rancor Wrangler, Mike. Come on,
Rancor
Whistler or Whisperer. There you go.
Yeah,
right.
You all can choose your best term, whatever you want. But either way, they take him down. So now he has a Rancor in the pit now, for sure. 100% we know it's Rancor there. However, this one had not yet imprinted, let's say, on who his master would be. So he lets him know as soon as he opens his eyes, first person that he sees, that's who controls him, which I guess is new knowledge for us as Star Wars fans. And then Boba is getting close to him, closer more and more. And then he also, drops a foreshadow that he wants to ride him and learn how to ride him, eventually. I'll let you start, Josh. What do you think and what do you foresee with him in the Rancor?
I think it would be cool to see him ride it, but I also feel like it will make him a bit more vulnerable when he's riding it. Because, again, we're in the world of Star Wars where we have things like blasters and long-range blaster rifles. So I feel like that's just an easy target. Again, I have no context on how fast the creature can move, how it can withstand any type of blasters at what range. So that, again, it could be epic or it could be potentially disastrous. But in line with Boba Fett's aspect of respect, I don't think he's just going to relegate the Rancor to the pit like Jabba. He's probably going to want the creature to be free, kind of like having a dog, basically, right? You might put the dog in the kennel, when it's time to sleep or whatnot. Or some people like to put the dog on their own pillow outside of the cage. So I think it really depends. And I was always curious because I'm a person who takes things literally. So when he said, as soon as you see the first human, he's imprinted on you. So I was like, does that mean it's going to attack Danny Trejo? Like, what does that mean for any other creature or human that it sees? Does that mean it's going to be viciously attacked? And I'm just curious to see how that dynamic is going to work.
Okay, Dr. W. So, what do you think of them and them explaining the Rancor and the Rancor that they are using now, as opposed to what we've seen in the past, with the Rancor just being vicious and threatening to what we're showing now?
Well, it's just kind of the Rancor, kind of like the Tuskens, where this outside creature who is violent or something, and now they're trying to give them more personality and that kind of thing. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they're going with the Rancor is depressed. I don't know if the next time they drop somebody down in the pit and the Rancor's there, maybe it won't come lumbering out. Maybe it'll just like sit in the corner and like mope. But,
It'll sit there and just go.
yeah, I don't know where they're going with that. But I like seeing Danny Trejo. That was nice.
Yeah.
Me being a dog person, I feel like the Rancor would be. I feel like the difference between the two is when Jabba had a Rancor, he had it like a dog that wasn't trained and it was just wild. It was just down there in a cage always. So it's going to be wild.
Right.
If he has a Rancor and he trains it and he has it like, top-notch training and stuff like that, it might just do stuff on command.
Wouldn't that be cool to see?
By the way, guys, if you guys want to take a quick Google, if you type in Rancor Boba Fett, there's a lot of cool fan art of what it looked like if he's riding it.
Oh, cool.
Didn't they say he is going to ride it? Somebody broke that.
Yeah, he said that he wants to learn how to ride it and that he's ridden beasts far larger than that, which I think was a callback to the holiday special in the Mythosaur.
Right, and he got the Mythosaur on his armor.
Yeah, that symbol. Yeah.
Never knew that. All right, Maine. What do you think? What do you foreshadow? Well, of course, see him riding it, but what do you think about him having him as a pet now instead of more of just like a vicious killer?
I think that this is a great way to add, like the doctor was saying, some personality to the Rancor in general, but also I think that it's another instance of them actually, I guess you could say, projecting the whole thing of respect, ruling with respect. It's going to be projected onto the Rancor as well, and he's going to build this I guess you could say this creature up to be very loyal, but also, like they were saying, also the drop of a dime at a command, he'll just wreck shit. He'll probably just look at him, do a point, and it's on. He kind of reminds me of I'm a big wrestling guy too, so Andre the Giant was a giant in every sense of the word. When he was wrestling, he was untamed and everything, but once he aligned himself with Ted DiBiase and he stood there and he was just ready all the time. He was calm, he was cool, he was chill. But when DiBiase was like, "Hey, get him," boom, that was it. You know what I mean? Or if somebody overstepped the line, that was it. That's his Andre the Giant. And I think that they're going to also develop a really, really special bond, so much so that it's going to come in and pay heavy dividends when the time comes. And also, one quick thing, he was saying that they're very peaceful otherwise. I think to what someone was saying about what's going to happen with the trainers aspect, I think that because I guess you could say they opened up with that, talking about how peaceful they are generally. I think that now that the Rancor is imprinted on Boba Fett, he's not really so much, because he's also a baby and is a trainer for a reason. He's not really going to trip on anybody else. Although it also shows that, just like what they talk about animals, pet bulls and things, they're taught that behavior and it's not innate. So I think that we're going to see a lot of that into play as well too.
Yeah. Also, he spoke about I think Danny Trejo spoke about and Chris, you probably does, about some witches from the expanded universe.
Yeah. They actually one specific witch of Dathomir that you might know from the Clone Wars was Darth Maul's mother, was a witch of Dathomir.
Right, that's right.
And Rancors are from the world that they live on, and they ride them into battle. As far as you're talking about Star Wars tech being greater or like more powerful than a Rancor. I saw an illustration of a Rancor ripping an AT-ST to shreds. So I think they might have like tough armor and stuff like that. So when we see, if they do it right, when he goes into battle on this thing,
wow!
I love how Favreau and Filoni are adding more lore into the things we love, right? Like, that a Rancor is kind of like a bulldog, right? So
Right.
I just that's so fascinating, man. Like all the little extra Easter eggs they add in is great, and name dropping the Witches of Dathomir. I hope we might see one someday too. We might see one in the Acolyte series that they're working on. So it's just more mythos to add to the Star Wars universe, and I'm all for that.
Could you imagine could you just picture that just Disney Plus, The Witches of Dathomir? That's a show to me.
I mean, they can go with this Disney Plus series. They can go anywhere with this, and I'll be happy. I'll absorb everything Star Wars that comes my way.
Yeah.
Yes, especially since they're doing a good job.
Oh
Yes.
man, they're killing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're not just like Dr. W said, that they're adding depth to like Tusken Raiders, to the Rancor, even the Boba himself, right? Because we got 10 minutes of screen time with him in the original trilogy. So I think they're adding depth to all this. I think some of the fandom are feeling like it's changing from what they knew, but I really think it's adding more than changing.
Yes.
A little bit. So I don't think it's bad at all. And then from there, they, like I said, they let them know was the mayor. So they decided to go visit the mayor again. And of course, they get there, him and Finnick, and they get the same front desk guy who's not really helping them. And then they get the other guy, I forget his name right now. And he's like, he's busy, and he said, I'll let him know. So then he says he goes in there, door's locked, and they can't get to him. They see him riding the car behind the back, and then we get the chase scene. So I would say much more about that. So we do see this fantastic chase scheme with Easter eggs throughout the chase scene and callbacks, and then they do wind up catching him. I would like Dr. W start right now, so we never really start. How did you feel about that visually, and then the story-wise? How did you feel about this whole scene?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people say like, "Man, that was a weird chase scene. It was really slow," and maybe it was a little bit, but I've also seen people point out that the cyborg gang is kind of like the gang from Back to the Future 2.
I saw that reference too. Yeah,
that whole chase scene was an homage to Back to the Future 2.
100%.
They even had the thing where they like slam the car up on the side and stuff falls. It wasn't poop this time, but it was
with Biff,
yeah.
Yeah, it was a little corny, but I think it was meant to be corny, so I was fine with it. I think you can tell what they were meaning to do.
Okay, all right, Josh, why don't you go, buddy? What do you think about the whole scene and that whole,
Absolutely,
the whole thing, meeting of the mayor and the whole thing.
Absolutely. So I had a feeling that the mayor would escape town eventually. He seemed like he'd be that type of person, and his chief of staff, if you will, to use political terms, his chief of staff was, he's a spineless jelly baby, if you will. So I knew he was going to run for it, and he's a terrible deflector, so he should be able to handle situations like that. But that's probably why the mayor left, because he knew he wouldn't be able to handle something like that. And then the whole speeder chase thing, I thought that was cool. It reminded me of, as Dr. W said, the Back to the Future too. That I thought that was great as well. And I was actually looking at it from a political power perspective, because he represents the mayor's office, right? So now you have Boba Fett cleaning up that mess. So now I think everyone in the town whose stuff was ruined, all the produce and everything like that, things and tents being run over and trampled without any, responsibility or an accountability. And now Boba Fett can regulate and see, like, you messed up everyone's stuff in town. Now we're going to make an example out of you. So I thought that was cool too. And I appreciate how the cyborg gang, came together and they collaborated very well with the speeders, and it had some strategy too, and going up on top of the roof. And I thought that was great.
E, how you felt about the whole thing?
All right, I love it. The mayor not the mayor, but his flunky can't drive. That's why I think that's what made the chase so bad, because the guy couldn't drive. He was terrible.
Right.
What are they called again? The crew that he has, his security team. Well, his Boba's security team was doing their thing. The guy's leg was like turning into like a jackhammer foot, and it had the spikes hanging out, and it was hitting the guys.
That was so cool.
Yo, wasn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And the other guy had like a blowtorch come out his hand, and was cutting into the guy's car. So I'm thinking, yeah. So I loved it. They're just seeing like who said something about the tech? Just seeing more tech was great for me, and seeing them put it to use was even better. And it shows how dangerous they are. I'm telling you, they're a force to be, reckoned with when it comes to what Boba Fett got planned for them.
Okay.
I don't see them going anywhere.
Maine, the whole scene there, the chase related to the chase and the capture.
First off, one of the things that I wrote down was I love the dynamic between Boba and Finnick. I love that dynamic because when they went into the office, they had the discourse and everything, and she was like, no, she got tired of it basically. So she was like, boom, like I'm ready to get some stuff done. Are you gonna see him or not? Like, what's gonna happen? He started pressing him, and I think that I like the subdued approach that Boba was trying to have, and like, nah, fuck that, we gotta get this shit done. The approach that Finnick had, and just the dynamic between the conversation. He was like, don't you think that was a little like heavy handed? Like, yo, like really in an office? And just Finnick was like, nah, we got to get this stuff done. I love that. Finnick is a character who can lead by, like, don't make no mistake, she can lead.
Yeah.
But she's there. She has loyalty to Boba, and it shows. She pulls back when she needs to, but she also gets in front and says, no, your approach was a little this. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and they're still okay. They're still on good terms. And I like the way that they operate and they synergize really well. So I thought that was really good. The I love the term spineless jelly baby. So I'm gonna use that. He was exactly that, and I was like, man, this punk ass dude. He ain't right. So then I knew it was more than like a corporate response. You know what? Let me see what I can do. Let me talk to my. I know what you're getting ready to do. You about to dip. They caught him, and the chase I thought was really well done because I love the chase scene. The color of the speeders against the cityscape was appealing. Just the drab, just void of color area, earth tones, pops of color, swooping through the city was a really, really appealing look to me, and it was really, really awesome. I also said that I don't know what the hell old boy had in that that 2897 Chevelle that he was driving, but that thing was moving. That thing was fast as hell. I don't know what the hell was in there, but it was moving. And those speeders was trying to catch up. They was trying, but they looked good, but they weren't moving as fast. So I thought that was also interesting. And the maneuvers that they pulled when she, I forget her name, but when she went on top of the other building and swooped down and dropped that big ass iron, they looked like from the top, that big ass iron down on them. And I was like, oh, that's it. And it was just all well done. And the call back to, of course, Back to the Future, all of those different things. It was really, really well done. And it was another exciting scene that I was like, okay, if you do this, you have this kind of balance between the talking points and then the action. If you balance that right, oh man, y'all good, man. I enjoyed it.
Okay. Chris, how'd you feel about the scene? And I'm sure you saw some of the Easter eggs, people crossing the street and stuff like that. So how'd you feel about the whole thing?
So as far as Easter eggs go, and I just want to preface this by saying that I'm a huge Ralph McQuarrie fan. You know that movie trope whenever there's a chase and somebody walking across with glass or whatever, there was
the painting,
carrying that painting of a Ralph McQuarrie concept art of Jabba's palace.
Yep.
And the original painting had Luke Skywalker in it, but they removed it for this for whatever reason. I mean, and I thought that was really cool. Seeing the pit droids again, and some of the robots they used in the prequels when Anakin and went to go visit Watto again, and they were driving in that little cart thing. We saw one of those, and he saw he was about to get hit, so he started dusting his wheels up so these passengers would get hit instead of him. I love that, and you guys described it pretty good, man. That was a great scene.
And we saw nobody mentioned it. We saw what's her name? Who was in The Mandalorian?
Oh, the shop owner who fixed the ship. Yeah.
We did.
Oh, we sure did. The stormtrooper helmets on the pikes again.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Wow. That was cool. I like that.
Yeah. You could actually see her in the background, actually, in one of
That's cool, man.
She was walking with her 3 pit droids. Yeah,
sure was.
And the people carrying that painting, they didn't notice Boba Fett was in that painting.
I know. Suspend your disbelief, E.
All right.
He was in that painting too.
Yo, he was. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And the ending, we see Boba just like fly down. Like, hey, I'm waiting for you to
We
get
got
here.
to see him use his jetpack. Yeah, finally.
We did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Or the
Forgot
end of
about
it
that.
anyway. So yeah, man, that was pretty cool, actually. And then what happened after that now? Oh, then we see he talks to the I guess the spineless jelly baby a little bit, and of course he gives up all the information that he has that the mayor already had left, and that the Pikes, I guess. Well, we see the ship come in, and we see that there's a bunch of Pikes
Yeah.
that are coming in to kind of take over, I guess, the territory. And I still think that the female Tusken is on that ship somewhere, likely. And then we kind of close, right? Is that the end, right?
Yeah.
So overall, what did you think of the episode, and what kind of theories crafting do you think might happen coming soon, Dr. W? What do you think?
I'm sorry. What
do you
I
think of the episode? Yeah, any theories you have? What's happening soon?
Well, it's probably my second favorite episode. I really liked number 2.
Yeah.
What do I think's coming up? I mean, like we've been talking about, we're looking forward to Boba Fett riding the Rancor. The Hutts are probably going to come back. Yeah, he's going to have to go to war with the Pike Syndicate, even more than he did already in the past. I hope that the female Tusken Raider is alive. That would be, and if she has a good reintroduction, that would be cool. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay, Josh, any theories, and what do you think of the episode? This episode?
I definitely give it a solid 8 out of 10. I thought that it was very well done. I enjoyed it a lot. I know Chloe enjoyed it as well. And I feel like, I guess, as Dr. W said, from what we've been discussing, I definitely feel like the female force sensitive Tusken is totally alive. And I felt like her force sensitivity probably helped her keep her life. That's definitely a thing, and
you guys are gonna ride that all the way home, huh?
You damn right.
Definitely a force user.
You damn
All
right.
Again, we're in the galaxy where it is possible. So
I will eat my hat if she uses the force in any way, shape, or form in this episode. I
better get some ketchup
in the series.
In the series, this series only, okay?
Well, I wouldn't want you to eat your hat. That's not fair.
Well, I'm gonna
How about the Grogu poster?
Oh, well, my fat head? No.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think we're definitely going to see the Chrysanthemum come back. I think that's going to be great. He's going to come back in a very opportune time. And I feel like Boba Fett's crew is definitely going to grow. He's definitely going to assemble his own Avengers for sure.
Right.
I think Mike froze.
In the best possible position as well.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, you back.
I'm here.
You back.
Last thing I heard was
is there a pod race outside?
That was me. Yeah. People, it's California, man. People just be driving all crazy up and down these streets.
Last thing I heard was Chris talking about eating his hat if she's supposed to this.
Yeah, if she uses the force, I'll eat my hat, or I'll eat my words.
All right, well, I hope you got some salt and pepper for that hat. We'll see what
All right.
All right. Well, anyway, we got you, Chris. Chris, how do you rate the episode, and what do you think is coming up soon?
Just like Josh and Andrew, I'd say that's my second favorite episode. The second episode was my first.
I think we lost Chris. All right, May, how about you, buddy?
No, Chris is here. He's still here.
He's here. I can hear.
Oh, okay.
How did you lose me? Technical difficulties. Well, relay the information to him that it was my second favorite episode. And as far as what we're gonna see, like I said before, is he still not hearing me?
I'm right here.
Okay, you can hear me.
I was gonna start dictating. He said that he enjoyed the episode.
Yeah. What I think is gonna happen. I think Kira's behind this, and we're gonna see Han Solo at some point in this episode. Yeah.
Wow.
I think the Crimson Dawn is the ultimate thing for this episode. Like,
why Kira?
Huh? Why Kira? Because after Darth Maul was killed by Obi-Wan, she took command of the Crimson Dawn, and the Crimson Dawn is the crime syndicate in the universe. So I think we're gonna see Kira very soon, and Yeah, and possibly see Solo, like I had alluded to in the.
Go ahead, Dr. W. You got to say something. You gonna say something?
I just going off Kira coming. They name drop Prince Shizor in the comics finally. What if he shows up and brings Black Sun with him? That would be kind of cool.
Oh, the Black Sun
Wow.
too.
So you have Crimson Dawn and Black Sun and the Pikes and the Hutts,
Wow.
and then
All out war on Tatooine.
episodes.
But that's why Boba Fett is going to have an Avenger team. He's going to have that Wookiee. He's going to have the whatever the robot gang, the two green pigs, the Rancor. What's
Morian guards?
The Tusken, the Force sensitive Tusken. He's going to have a team. I'm telling you, he's going to have a team.
I
Yeah,
wonder
it's
if
gonna
the
be awesome.
Tusken actually escaped and is now trying to galvanize other Tuskens too. That could be a different theory.
That's true too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna have a major role in it. But
That way he has a Tusken army.
Yeah,
Woo!
he's gonna need them.
war
with
is
the
definitely
Avengers.
coming to Tatooine.
And I think that's it to that. I think that's
Well,
why
the
also
Tuskens-
it's possible that's why the Hutts also probably pulled out. Now that you know, looking at what Doctor said, is that if that's the case and the Hutts were on the outside looking in, they're looking at all these different vantage points. They're like, yeah, I see what's going on here. You mentioned, you know, the Black Sun, you know, the Red Dawn, all these different factions and all these things happening at one time and converging onto each other. I think that could be a sign that maybe the Hutts are gone. Maybe they don't want
Yeah,
it.
they don't want this smoke. Yeah.
Okay, couple. Well, before I get to that, if the Tuskens, if they did get away and they find other tribes, they're gonna let them. She's gonna let them know how much Boba helped them. So that would definitely make them be able to help Boba, because she's gonna let them know, like he was there for us. He helped us in a lot of ways. So that'd be dope. But man, how would you rate the episode? Stuff like that.
I also would agree with everyone else's sentiments that it's my second favorite episode. The one thing that I really like the most, especially going into the end credits, is the one thing that I wrote was, while The Mandalorian is much about the journey, this show feels like more about the destination. And what I mean by that is there's less traveling sequences. In The Mandalorian, you saw him and Grogu getting into the ship, traveling to these different places, landing here, walking around, all these different things, right? It was the journey. Whereas with Boba Fett, it just goes straight to, they talk about something, boom, they cut to the Pikes. Well, you know what I mean? So things like that is to the point, and I like the way that they do that because it also fits with the way that Boba likes to get things done. He's direct, and he's to the point. He doesn't have time to be, okay, well, let's talk about all this. Let's walk on this camel or whatever down this ravine and let's talk. Nah, listen, this happened. We won't have a problem with them anymore. Next scene, boom. You know what I mean? So I like the flow of that, and I think that it followed through to the very end of the episode. And that was one of the things, the lasting points that I liked, and that I came to the conclusion of. But I also feel like this is another good episode, but probably right behind number 2, for sure.
You keep mentioning, Chris, about Kira and Solo.
Yeah.
Where do you think? So where's Luke at? What all this happening? Like, isn't it? This is like his home as well.
So this takes place
After Mandalorian,
right?
Yeah.
So Luke is with Grogu.
Yeah.
Right.
Han Solo's still around. I think like when he finds out that Kira's back in the picture or back on Tatooine or something like that, I think I almost positive that he's going to make a cameo appearance at some point because Kira's his ex and Boba had ties with him at some point. So if they don't play to that, man, that's a missed opportunity in my point of view. Just like they did a younger CG Luke. I mean, and I don't know why they're not getting the guy who played
Sebastian Stan.
Right, but
he didn't like that.
If they DH Harrison Ford, I'm all for it, man. And just the biggest thing to me is I want to see the original 3 back together again. I want to see Leia, Luke, and Han. You know what they did in the sequel trilogy, like
no,
man, I would love.
That's
to
not
see
gonna happen.
I mean, like I'm talking like not maybe in this series itself, but at some point in this whole Disney Plus thing, I want to see the 3 back together again.
I don't. What they did with Leia in last episode, I never want to see that again, bro.
That was terrible.
Terrible.
That was terrible.
But you didn't
Marvel's characters don't even look like that when they get de-aged like that and stuff like that. So that was terrible.
I mean, I just think we were robbed of that opportunity in the sequel trilogy.
We were robbed, but I don't want to see it now because it's just Leia by herself and the fort. What is it? The Rise of Skywalker was horrible, bro. Like
Man,
that's one of the
right.
worst parts of that movie.
To your point, real quick, E-Money, they did make Kurt Russell look amazing in Guardians, man. They
Right.
I don't know why they couldn't have done use that same kind of technology. But
Ironically,
yeah,
it is what's it called? Lucasfilm Tech. This is
yeah,
part of the
ironic.
reasons
Getting
why
better, too.
why Disney acquired Star Wars for the Skywalker Ranch Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause even Luke, like I mean, the fighting was great, but if you look at his face, it was
Yeah, that
awful.
wasn't good either. Yeah, Star Wars don't know what they. You know what though? They should
I
really
loved it.
just take Sebastian
loved it.
Stan.
You know what I
and
mean? You weren't
make
looking
him
good
as
enough, Chris.
Luke.
I don't know what you were looking at. Like,
Man, that scene made me cry, bro.
yeah,
I
that's
love
why.
that.
Really?
I'd have preferred to see
Oh,
Sebastian
God, yeah.
Stan
When you
take
saw
the
him
head off.
again in Mandalorian,
Hold on,
bro,
and that's why
I had a tear in my eye, I'm not gonna lie.
water in your
Man,
eyes. You see his face.
I'll come to Jesus right now and tell you that I cried.
That was the
All right, I'm
problem.
not ashamed to say that. Die Hard
It's
Star
all
Wars
good.
fan.
It's all good, man.
Nah, I'm
Yeah,
not
I
saying-
mean, it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. We definitely have to see Chewbacca, Han,
Yep.
Luke at some point, and maybe even Grogu. Even you never know.
yeah, it may
Oh,
be
yeah.
a fully trained Leia, I guess, at this point. We'll see at that point. But since you want to see it all, Chris, but
She stopped training.
huh?
She stopped training.
Yeah, at some point. I don't know what she did though. She didn't say exactly when.
Because of her son, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
She stopped training because of her son.
Yeah, but we're only 5 years after. So anyway, we want to hold on, especially holding Mr. Dr. W. Thank you so much once again for joining us. So again, we'll be doing this every week, same time on the same channel. We really appreciate your insight and thoughts so far. How would you rate the series as a whole so far, Dr. W?
Oh, geez. I mean, we're only 3 episodes in out of what? Are there going to be 7 or 8?
7, I believe.
7.
Yeah.
7.
Almost halfway there.
I mean, it's off to a good start, I think. I'm not sure how to rate it. I want to see the whole thing before I then go,
As a
well,
whole? Okay.
is
I
it
got
better
you.
than season 1 of Mandalorian or season 2? I don't know, but it's seeming they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was
All right,
a lot
well-
of hate online for this episode, though. I couldn't,
What?
A lot.
This
There's a-
episode
everybody
is
was
a
saying
9.
that Boba Fett was soft. And
Nah,
he's
this
becoming
episode was
softer.
9, man. This is a 9 for me.
I mean,
There was
no,
a
I
lot
loved
of
it.
there was a
but-
lot of hate for this episode. They think he's
Yeah.
soft. They think that
Why you,
he shouldn't have let the guy go, the jellyfish guy.
I mean,
why you
I
we discussed this a lot. I feel like Star Wars fans are so traumatized from the prequel series that they look for anything to nitpick. So I feel like as a Star Wars fan, I'm just thankful that we have Star Wars content. Granted,
Great time to be alive as a fan.
absolutely the sequel trilogy wasn't the best. I was still happy that we still got it. Now I like the direction that we're going. We have Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Kevin Feige. I feel like it's going to go in a great direction. They have assembled a bunch of incredible directors, even down to the film score composers. I think Star Wars is going in a great direction, and sky's the limit. I'm very excited for what we have here.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Especially with so many series, coming in the future. So I mean, I don't know when Obi-Wan's going to come out, but that's going to be the one for me. Like,
I think to Josh's point, I think that right now we're in an era or a moment in time in Star Wars where it feels like we have our Kevin Feige, so to speak. We have that kind of person or these people who are understanding the lore, understanding the psychology behind everything in this universe, and are doing their best to put out a product that appeals to the people who are veterans and well versed, and that can also sometimes throw us for a loop and add more to it, but also engage newer people to come and check out the series as well, just check out the whole universe. So I think that we might be onto something. If this keeps up, we might be in for, like I said, the Kevin Feige-ish kind of universe or era of Star Wars, and I'm excited for it.
Oh man,
Facts.
I think the key to Star Wars success is really going to lie on how well they do the next feature film, as far as like a movie. Something like that.
man, you ain't kidding.
I mean, I'm calling it right now. There has to be a Grogu film, his different stages of his life, and you got to follow him like you follow Anakin. You have to.
True. So are you
Now-
saying that more than likely they're going to say that this is going to be the next iteration of a Luke story, and it's going to be Grogu is the new Luke, is what you're
Man, that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, why not? That's probably, besides the main cast that Chris loves, that we all love, I would say he is the most popular Star Wars character right now.
I agree, definitely.
There's some people who would never ever seen Mandalorian who can reference. They don't even know. Obviously, don't know his name.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
true.
The most popular Star Wars character on Earth right now.
True.
Yeah.
I agree. Besides the main cast, I agree with that.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Well, again, I want to keep it going. Thank you all for coming on. Thank you everybody in the chat. Please always like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, we'll be back next week with another show. Any last words here? Anybody?
Yeah.
May the force be with you.
And Dr. W, the door's always open for you to come in the future, man. If you ever want to, I'll send you a link. If you want to pop in, please do. If not, and let me know about that documentary, man. I want to support it. So
yeah, thanks for having me.
And it's really thank you so much for coming, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks again.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right, guys.